Cannabis Life Radio is paid programming. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of JVC Broadcasting, its management, or staff. This is the most unique radio show in America. This is Florida's only cannabis radio program. This is Cannabis Life Radio.
A dedication to all the refugees worldwide. One time. Say. I remember when we used to sit in a government yard in Brooklyn. About solving the crookedness. As it mingle with the good people we meet. Good friends we had, good friends we've lost. Along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say, until my peeps who passed away. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Say. Oh, hey, little sister, don't shed no tears. No woman, no cry. Say. I remember when we used to rock. In a project yard in Jersey. And little Georgie would make the firelight as stolen cars passed through the night. And then we'd hit the corner store for roots, paper, and brew. My drinks, my only remedy for pain of losing family. But while I'm gone, shorty, everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Fuji's come to the dance tonight. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Oh, everything is gonna be alright. The gunman's in the house tonight, but everything is gonna be alright.
So they say we cleft cap.
Woman want good love. Now sympathize. Woman want good love every night. Right up. Love a girl. Abby. Step up.
She want a lover, man.
Action. At a bag of motor. So we. Now we make the girl them go go. Action. At a bag of motor. So we. Now we make the girl girl them broke out.
You think you are so fine.
Big chat no work, yeah, man, watch the time.
Stop playing with my mind.
Oh, man, no in a joke when she will want the wine.
You call me on the phone.
I know what a talking angel come down.
And now I want you home.
I tell Jackie, girl, me nah use no stone.
Action,
At a bag of mouth,
sweet.
don't be made the girl them broke out.
Action,
At a bag of mouth,
sweet.
don't be made the girl them broke out.
I need some action, tender satisfaction.
Others,
My chemistry is flowing. Can you cause a chain reaction? I need some action, tender satisfaction.
others.
My chemistry is flowing. Can you cause a
Watch
chain
this. Come
reaction?
on, bedroom bully, she no want that you know. She want a man to caress her up like so. And I make love to woman like a war them a go. Woman a ball in a agony and all out. Sure, hardcore loving man, you must be insane. Woman no want no man to make she feel pain. Sweet loving in the falling rain. Sweet loving a mix of hard brain.
Action,
At a bag of mouth,
sweet.
don't be made the girl them broke out.
Action,
At a bag of mouth,
sweet.
don't be made the girl them broke out.
You think you understand?
Agony, pain and loving a no one.
I need a loving man.
But if I love it, don't be enough affection.
Sweet talks and tender kiss.
No one want to come tear off our Brazil.
Can you erase my fear?
They're coming right over, so now they just beware of me.
Action,
At a bag of mouth,
sweet.
don't be make the girl them broke out.
Action,
At a bag of mouth,
sweet.
don't be make the girl them broke out.
I need some action, tender satisfaction.
Adults,
My chemistry is flowing. Can you cause a chain reaction? I need some action, tender satisfaction. My chemistry is flowing. Can you cause a chain reaction?
bedroom bully, she no want that you know. She want a man to caress her up like so. And I make love to woman like a war them a go. Woman a ball in a agony and all out. Just hardcore loving man, you must be insane. Woman no want no man to make she feel pain. Sweet loving in the falling rain. Sweet loving a mix of our brain.
Action,
At a bag of mouth,
sweet.
don't be the girl them broke out.
Action,
At a bag of mouth,
sweet.
don't be the girl them broke out.
I need some action, tender satisfaction.
Adults,
My chemistry is flowing. Can you cause a chain reaction? I need some action, tender satisfaction.
If you need cannabis as medicine, you need Cannabis Life Radio.
Cannabis Life Radio is back.
we are back.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
We're back. Another episode of Cannabis Life Radio, Florida's only cannabis radio program. I am Leon Hamilton, along with your host, R.B. Barroso.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, everybody else is here. Cheryl, you're here.
Thank you. I am here. Cheryl Murray Powell,
Cheryl
General
Murray
Counsel
Powell.
for Minorities for Medical Marijuana.
You handled that way better than I could ever do that.
I'm learning from you. That's just me taking
way.
notes, Leon.
There's no way that I could ever do that. Because once I started reading, I'd go, Oh, and Silent Gabe and the boys are all here. Everybody's getting set up so we can broadcast live on Facebook Live and YouTube. And what else do we do?
Facebook,
iTunes,
Instagram,
iTunes, everything. Yeah, we're everywhere on social media.
That's
Also,
TFC Marketing representing right there
yes,
for us.
TFC Marketing. Our phone lines are open, by the way, 1-877-960-9960 if you have a question or a comment. You can also reach us by email, info@greenroadsworld.com.
Bingo. Wow.
He was
that's
looking
a
at me.
miracle.
When I was reading that
pressure.
email address, he was actually watching my
saw
lips to make sure that I didn't screw it up. Man, you have
Hopped in.
no
I'm lined
confidence in
right
me.
now. I have all the
No
confidence in
confidence. Oh, now I get applause. Thank you,
right,
everyone.
that's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
With an S.
Please remain seated. I will do some other things. I'll screw up later on, so don't worry about it. We have lots of great things lined up. We have awesome information about what's going on with the state's implementation of the medical marijuana program here. We got lots of action going on around the state. Different health departments. What were they called? Town halls?
Public hearings.
Public
we have
hearings.
a lot of activism happening. There were lines around buildings. the main room in Broward was filled with the overflow being filled, and there was still a line wrapped around. So people are coming out and saying, no, we want you to implement the way we voted.
That's right.
They voted it in, so now
they got
it's
an
time.
earful.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to continue to get it.
It's going to keep happening.
They're fighting it and stuff like that. So everybody for Florida is like really standing up and standing
awesome.
behind their vote.
Yes, it's not just like a normal state that let the legislature go ahead and go about their business and try to stop this stuff. You know what? We're not going to let it happen.
Not in Florida.
No, it's not going to happen.
Not in Florida.
It's not going down like that.
Yeah, people get very angry when they try to take the rights away here in Florida. So we got. That's right. Take me outside. Take me outside. I ain't going to mess around. That's right. We got lots of great stuff coming up, including awesome tunes and In the Know with Bill Monroe.
Woo.
The nation's #1 radio segment. Did you hear about that? It's been an award. It's been an award.
That's awesome.
Nobody believes
That's
it.
quite an achievement.
Nobody believes a word I say anymore.
Bill Monroe.
Yeah, and In the Know with Bill Monroe, we're going to wrap up all this stuff in the that's going on around the state. And what else do we got, Arby?
We have a couple people coming on today. The MS Foundation, they have a bowl-a-thon today. We're also representing and sponsoring a gala in April for that. So many great things coming aboard.
Nice.
Many.
Nice. So make sure you keep your radios tuned right where they are. You're listening to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Away.
Cannabis is medicine. Cannabis is life. This is Cannabis Life Radio.
Wait and see, because you know you need somebody. I said the loving you lost is just a one of the cost when you're living in the streets and you're running from cops. And every day is a surprise to pay when you're living by the words and the things you say. And if your mother only knew that all these things you say you know are true. Come on in, a little woman, yes, the one you wanted. The type of woman leave you broken hearted. Got the type of body that you can't ignore. Said you got a lot of money but you can't afford a little loving from the wrong side of the bed. You're sleeping for the long night. Wait and see, because you know you need somebody. Oh yeah, somebody. Oh yeah, somebody. Oh yeah. You're saying that you're leaving, baby. I don't think that you're coming back. And nothing's meant to last forever. Let me know what you think about that. Cause taking time to think about it only means that you work it out. Said thinking that you need her ain't what it's all about. Come on, and if your mother only knew that all the things you say you know are true. And if you're thinking that you need someone new, you'll have to wait and see, because you know you need somebody. Oh yeah, somebody. Oh yeah, somebody. Oh
Cannabis sativa, the old standby cordage fiber, is staging a strong comeback.
Cannabis Life Radio proudly presents In the Know with Bill Monroe.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
The nation's #1 radio segment, In the Know with Bill Monroe. Part of Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World. What's going on? You can just tell me to...
Okay, you're okay. I didn't want to interrupt you. You looked really excited there.
No respect. Oh, we got Bill on the line. Is Bill there? Bill.
Good morning. I'm here. How you doing, guys?
Thank goodness you're
Morning,
here to
Bill.
rescue.
Morning, Bill.
Morning.
What's going on? You got an update for us. We got a lot of stuff going on around the state,
And by
right?
the way, Bill, we got a full house today. We got Roz McCarthy, the founder of Minorities for Medical Marijuana. We got Cheryl Murray Powell here with us. So we got some ammunition for you here.
Nice.
All right. Sounds good, guys. So what's happened over here the last week is we've had a lot of public input meetings in Tampa, Orlando, Tallahassee, and other cities. And not just a few people are showing up. We're talking hundreds of people showing up at these meetings. You know, they've been in the rooms, packing the hallways. They're outside of the buildings. So these buildings that they picked for public input were not a sufficient size based on the crowds. And what we heard from most of the public is what they want to do is get rid of the 90-day rule. They want to increase the 45-day supply. And what I heard, go ahead.
No, we're waiting on you.
Okay. And what I heard there are the products are expensive, and the oil and the vape, there's no suppositories. For example, I had a lady get in touch with me, and she says she has Crohn's disease, and she's looking for suppositories. And there are none. All that they have right now are vape and flour, and there's no topicals for using, for example, if you have psoriasis, or for seniors who have dysphagia where they can't swallow, there's no edibles. So the products are very limited. In addition, there's a 25 to 50-day delivery fee. And in some cases, if you order on Wednesday, you have to wait till Monday of the next week to get your supply.
Oh, my goodness.
So these 7 license holders are in no way in form going to be able to keep up with the patient load. And the one thing that House Leader Richard Corcoran told Ray Rodriguez is to make sure that you honor the will of the voters. Well, the will of the voters was for access. Right. So how are we going to getting access if we only have 7 license holders? And after a year of those 7 license holders, we only have 5 dispensaries in the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what I was reading. I was reading that earlier and last night that there's only 5 that are up out of 7.
That's right. So I looked at the population of 50,000, cities that have 100,000 or more, and I did the math, and we would need about 177 dispensaries just to address those cities that have a population of 100,000 or more. Mm. So we got 7 license holders now, and how many dispensaries do we have? Under 5.
Right.
So if each one of the license holders was going to develop 5 dispensaries a year, it would take them 5 years to have all the dispensaries out there in order to provide public access.
Yeah.
And why they Bill, why are they dragging their feet? I don't understand. Like, if people are coming out and sharing their opinion and their voices, the 71% that actually came out and voted, why are they dragging their feet so much? Like, what's going on behind the scenes? Have you heard anything? What's going on?
Well, I think a lot of it is greed. I mean, it's just simple greed. It's like one person sitting on top of all the materials. In this case, we have 7 people, and they're saying it's all mine and it's all mine. But they don't realize there's no way you're going to be able to service all the patients, educate all the physicians, build all the dispensaries, do all that, and be able to provide public access. So you have greed in the way. And then along with that, you have the government. The government is saying, oh, well, we only want 7 because it makes it easy for them. Well, what's easy for them is not easy for the patients.
Right.
Exactly. And Bill, just to reinforce what you're saying, on the normal Facebook page, there was a patient member, Cesar Phillips, who mentioned that True Leaf said he could only get vape cartridges. That was the only way that he could get the medicine.
That makes no sense, because we're in the CBD side of the world, and we've been in it now for about 3.5 years. We could get anything that we're looking for.
Right.
We've produced. The owner of our company is a licensed pharmacist. We've been producing these products now for 4 years. It's taken us time to get there. We're in about 3,000 stores, so it's a big production. But what it is just dragging your feet. Right. The way I look at it, it's either dragging the feet or dragging all the money with you, and just kind of let it just go away, at like a big pharma move is the way I'm looking at it. Because just to have 7 dispensaries, it's almost impossible. Is impossible to be able to service all the customers and clients that really need it.
It's very clear.
Can I ask Bill a question? Bill, are you in a birdhouse? Is that what that? What is that noise?
No. I'm out in the backyard, and I got a dog in the like 2 blocks over, and it won't shut up.
Oh, okay, I'm hearing a lot of birds.
I'm hearing some tweeting over there.
There's some birds.
Okay, I wanted to make sure it wasn't our equipment or the producer in the other room. I just wanted to make sure.
No. Hopefully, it's not picking up too much on the birds.
Continue.
I think fundamentally we got to think about this. When the current system that you're looking at with the 7 dispensaries that are licensed was under the low THC bill, and so right now the fact that we have a new amendment that has been passed by our voters by 71%, you now have a new regulation, so they need to take their eyes off of the old low THC amendment and look towards, now we have a full comprehensive program. Full comprehensive program means you look at a full comprehensive way to deliver the services.
Right.
Correct.
And it really starts, and I am so passionate about this, and thank you guys for having me on, but it starts with physician education. We're hearing physicians, we're hearing groups come to us, and they're telling us, well, we're just going to kind of wait and see what happens. We're just going to kind of see if this is something that we want to get into. And I think at the top of making this a successful program throughout the country, throughout the state, is being able to have physicians who are very educated and understanding. And of course, I do think the 90-day rule, that was a big deal during the different open forums, was definitely addressed, where Mr. Bax and his office realized that patients cannot wait 90 days. So.
It should be a doctor discretion. This is why they went to school.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is what they understand what they're doing. It's a doctor-patient relationship, and the Florida Board of Medicine should never get in the middle of that. Neither should politics or anything else. This is the reason why they're doctors,
right?
Because they're providing a service to a patient, and they should be able to do that freely. With their education being able to do so, especially with the type of product that they're going to be prescribing.
Right.
There's no overdoses.
No.
There's no deaths related to medical marijuana or marijuana, period.
Right.
And me and you've had this conversation plenty of times.
Yes.
Just in Broward County, West Palm Beach, and South Florida, there was 800 deaths last year.
From?
ODs from fentanyl, opiates,
right.
heroin. Heroin addiction is through the roof.
It's always the legal stuff that's killing everybody.
And this is the problem, and this is why the doctors need to get more educated in what they're doing. And they're not. It's not their fault. They're just don't understand just yet. So we are out there educating as much as we can. We are talking to as many doctors. The younger doctors in this field right now have a bigger understanding and a better understanding. It's really getting to the doctors that are a little bit old, been around for a while.
Yep.
That don't understand how to make the move and then transition
a lot
into
of them don't
better.
want to know.
They don't want to know, but they're going to end up having to come on board because patients need this type of medication to get off everything else that they've been getting for so many years, especially the older community.
And Bill, I was pleasantly surprised to see all the doctors coming out in support. When have we had physicians, activists, some politicians, all these varying groups all in favor of the same thing before in this state? The doctors came out. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that piece with the physicians.
Well, a lot of the physicians I've talked to are on board with it. They just want to be, to change the wording from order to recommended. That way, they're not legally liable.
Right.
They want more education, and they want to interact with people and to have information provided to them. So right now, what you're seeing is the Office of Compassionate Use. They have a lot of their mechanics in place, but they don't have a whole lot of their education in place for the physicians and the patients.
Yeah.
And that takes time.
Yes.
That does take time because it's a new industry for these doctors, and they're very scared in reference to the Florida Department of Health. They don't understand it, so they kind of step back a little bit and wait for everything to fall in its place, and we can't allow that to happen. So the more education and the more we get out there, the better it's going to be for everybody.
So, Bill, what do you think? What do you think is going to be the result of all these people? I mean, I saw a couple of hours of people's testimony at these forums, and every single one of them was furious, or at least very passionate about what was going on. What do you think the end result when the health department gets back there, or those representatives get back to Tallahassee? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, either they're going to listen to the people and implement the will of the people, or they won't, and and they'll stick with what they're doing now, and then they'll use Director Bax and his people as fall guys.
Right,
they'll fire them and put a new group in place, and they'll be the scapegoats.
But what happens if this big system that they're setting up, if it fails, if it collapses, if it doesn't work? Are those people going to be blamed, or is it going to be the state that gets blamed?
Well, what you're seeing with the politicians is they never accept the blame themselves. They're going to turn around and say the Department of Health didn't implement it properly, and they're going to fire the people at the top and put a new group in place. Yeah.
Billy, you had a really interesting Facebook post about the money from the application fees generated so far and what's anticipated. And on the same day, there were numerous articles about Colorado making $1 billion from the cannabis industry and the state in taxes getting $200 million. So I just wanted you to speak about that a little bit more.
Well, if you notice the Bradley bill, he has in there that once he hit 250,000, 350,000, he allows 5 more licenses. Now, he doesn't say he doesn't put any residency requirements on these licenses. He doesn't say how the selection process is going to take place for these licenses, and they're all non-refundable, $60,000 a piece.
What a racket.
So yeah. So the state,
do the math on it, right?
It's a complete
right. I mean, so if you do the math, if you got 1,000 applicants of 60,000 apiece, and they're all non-refundable, and they only pick 5, that's a money-making venture for the state. I mean,
and we want to know where's that money going to after you make that revenue that's not already budgeted out. Where's that revenue that's generated from that? Because the department again only needs so much to run. So I mean, where does it go from there?
Well, I sent an email to the Department of Health, and I said you collected about $1.5 million with 5 applicant, picking 5 people last time. You didn't increase staff. It took you almost a year to pick these people. Where did all the money go?
Right.
No, nobody answered my email.
What a coincidence.
Interesting. Shocking. Roz and I were speaking.
I'm surprised they didn't get back to you right away.
Yes.
Roz and I were speaking earlier this week about your post concerning a third bill rumor. Have you heard anything, other detail on that?
I've been asking around. I've been talking to my sources up in Tallahassee and in other areas. I think what they're looking at, and this is in the Senate, is Senate Negron, Senate Leader Negron. He wants all the time to be spent on Lake Okeechobee and solving that mess with the water being discharged and creating the green slime we see every summer. So he's thinking that the Bradley bill and the Brands bill is going to fall apart on the floor, and they're going to create a third bill, which will be a combination of those 2 bills. So it won't be total free market. It won't be a restriction of 7 licenses. It might be something in between. But, that's just all hypothetical at the moment.
Right.
So they're basically going to let this all blow up. Nobody's going to get anywhere. And then they're going to restart it all over again.
I'll tell you this. We're in Tallahassee every single week, and I tell you the lack of education and not, trying to belittle or speak negative of our elected officials. But we know this world. Think about it. This is the world that we are in, we exist in, we study it, we look at other different states and see what's going on. And the education gap between what we know that's the right thing to do and what our elected officials know is huge. And so some of the opportunities that we're going to have is be able to educate them and look at other different states that have had some successful rollouts of horizontal programs, because they don't understand it. When we go vertical versus horizontal, it's in our language. This is what we know, and they don't know it. So when you're talking about how do you make a difference, I do think that's when you look at whoever is representing you in your district and you reach out to them and you take one piece of what you're passionate about and drive it home and drive that piece home. And that was what we recommended when the online comment form was open up, and we told our members, listen, we have 8 things that we want to focus on. Don't go try to focus on all 8. No. Take one of the 8, 2 of the 8 that you're most passionate about, that you believe in the most, and then from there drive that home. And if we do that and do that in multiples, through the course of attrition, we win. Yep. Exactly.
Well, that's the Colorado model. In other words, when Colorado came out, they went completely horizontal. Then they started kind of bringing it back in, going and then implementing laws, and bringing in certain legislation that just kind of brought it back into a scope, but it still kept everything horizontal. And
everybody
it's been everybody happy, very successful. You go to Colorado, you have new roads. What they need to do is go to these states that have been successful, collected a bunch of taxes, and fix their infrastructure, the roads, and everything else, and bring that into one piece instead of continuing to hold this as a money bag or a money grab and not allowing the people that spoke on this vote to continue to push this agenda forward instead of holding it back.
Yes.
So, Bill, thank you so much for joining us. I think next time we're going to put you inside a house.
Yes, inside a house.
For anyone to tweet tweets.
No wildlife.
No jungle stuff, man. I mean, we're a cannabis
I'm sorry
show.
about that, guys. I thought if I came out in the backyard, out in nature, it'd be nice and quiet.
Look
and
at
then
that kitty cat.
Now you got a cat on.
His buddy.
Hey, when you meet Bill, you gotta love him. So, hey, Bill, keep doing what you're doing there, dude.
Very, very, very in tune with wildlife over there.
I'm going to lock myself in a closet.
Your own home studio.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you.
The hottest radio segment in the history of mankind, ladies and gentlemen. In the Know with Bill Monroe, brought to you by Cannabis Life Radio, which, of course, is sponsored by Green Roads World.
Across the state and across the country, the Hemp Kings is your online home for hemp oil products. From organic hemp oils to intense concentrates, there is only one name you need to remember: the Hemp Kings. The Hemp Kings. Our hemp cream pain blaster lotions use natural essential oils to deliver hemp's natural pain reliever directly to the site of inflammation for long-lasting relief. Now, our Pain Blaster hemp cream has gone to the extreme. New Pain Blaster Extreme delivers even more relief, even faster. The best hemp products at the best prices, delivered anywhere in the continental U.S. TheHempKings.com. TheHempKings.com.
Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out their organic hemp oils, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee when checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try refreshing natural lemonade or a delicious organic ice cream sandwich. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog and the Turnpike. We're Florida's #1 seller of hemp oil products because our stuff works.
Marley's Tobacco Shop, your one stop for pipes, papers, and other smoking accessories, including a huge selection of all your favorite raw papers and cones. Marley's offers a wide array of hand-blown glass pipes and water pipes, many from local artists. Check out their selection of vaporizers and e-cigarettes and e-liquids, along with plenty of incense to light up your place. Visit Marley's locations, 2 in Boca, or head to Palm Beach and Jupiter. Marley's Tobacco, a family-owned tobacco shop with a minor in vaping. Marley's Tobacco, they're smoking.
This is Florida's only cannabis radio program, Cannabis Life Radio. Cannabis is medicine. You need Cannabis Life Radio.
Greetings, we're back.
Welcome to Cannabis Life Radio. Leon Hamilton along with RB Barroso and the gang. 1-877-960-9960 is the phone number if you would like to call. If you have a question, comment, about Florida's new medicinal cannabis law.
Amendment 2, all day long.
Hey, you called it earlier. You said you started in hot. You were going to have a stumble. It's okay, though.
Well,
it's okay.
I knew.
It's all right.
Well,
we got
I got
you.
distracted because I'm trying to keep it cool in here.
Right.
Trying to keep it nice and cool so
But
it doesn't
you are
overheat.
cool, man.
I know. I'm very cool.
You're a cool cat.
The most uncool person on the planet.
It's all about Amendment 2.
Yes, all about Amendment 2, Florida's medical marijuana law. So if you want to learn how to get your card, if you want to know how cannabis can work for you, listen to this show or tell your friends. If you know people that need cannabis or need to get a card, listen to Cannabis
Well, we'll
Life
bring
Radio.
as much education as possible.
Right.
Like today, again, we're joined by
Right.
two big advocates for the MMJ side of Florida and legislation, and just kind of bringing the information forward, which is Roz McCarthy, the founder of Minorities for Medical Marijuana, Cheryl Powell, which is an attorney that's also working with Roz and
Our
bringing
general counsel.
General counsel for Minorities for Medical Marijuana. We're just trying to get the word out. We're actually just discussing right now, a couple seconds ago before we got on the air, is residency,
right?
Which has not been brought up at all, and it's a really, really big thing, because if you can't just come to Florida and do what you want to do just because you have a sack of money, that eliminates the people that are here that are actually trying to do good for Floridians,
right?
People that actually want to provide this type of product for Floridians, for family, for friends, for their parents. So that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about this whole week. We have a lot of meetings this week with senators, House representatives.
Because I don't want to interrupt you, but basically you want to stop people from coming from other states and taking over the whole.
Stop them, but you have to have a residency here. You can't just come to Florida and just do what you need to do,
right?
And bring that. You could be hired as a consultant, or something in that fashion. But you should be able to be a Floridian, a resident here in the state of Florida, to get involved in the medical marijuana
Because in
field.
Colorado, when they started out, it was you all had to be a Colorado.
No, it doesn't start. That's the way it is right now. I mean,
Yes.
for you to actually,
even now.
now,
yeah, even now there's a residency
and they're even
requirement.
more strict right now than they were before.
Right.
So they don't play over there.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. With Colorado was very horizontal. Then they've brought it in a little. It's kind of like horizontal, vertical, but they're allowing everybody to get in the industry, whether
Right.
it's delivery, whether it's extractions, those type of methods that Florida's trying to control. Never be successful.
Exactly.
It would never work. I've come from a lot of states that have done this, and I'm telling you right now, all of them have to be horizontal. Have some vertical in there. Obviously, you got the big guys that have the big money behind them, but there's got to be some participation by everybody in the business.
Okay, and real quick, I didn't want to interrupt you, but one more time. The horizontal market is a market that's spread out over instead of a few people controlling everything, which would be a vertical market.
That's a monopoly. In other words, when you're going vertical, it's monopoly. It's controlled by the politics, by the big guys with big money, just exactly what's going on right now.
The horizontal market is what we would like to have, which is a market spread out, a free market.
And if you just want to grow, then you can grow. If you just want to extract and process, you can extract and process. If you just want to do retail, then you can just do retail. If you just want to transport, then you can do transportation.
Exactly.
You're not forced to have the millions of dollars that's required for you to do all of the above.
Gotcha.
And that's why it's so important.
Just want to make sure everybody knew.
Yeah, thank you, Leon.
It's important. It's so important to understand what vertical means versus horizontal. And again, the vertical is, think about this, from seed to sale. So everything you do between the fact when you plant that seed to when you until you sell it goes under a vertical market, and what that means is very restrictive in regards to having.
They control everything.
Control everything. Who comes in, who goes out, the pricing, everything. And so when you go back to the public forums that spoke about pricing, you don't realize that when you're being charged almost $900 a month for your medication, and this is out of pocket, you can't afford it. So a horizontal market gives you the opportunity to create really good competition. It's capitalism at its best, and this is what our country is founded on.
And that's what we're exactly. I agree with Roz 1,000% on that. It's you have to bring in other people that have a lot of talent in this industry.
Yes. Right.
Okay, the nurseries had talent in growing palm trees and oranges. They had to bring in a consultant to be able to grow what they're trying to grow right now, and even then. Now, with a 30-year rule that was implemented in 2014, they're selling. A lot of these nurseries are up for sale.
Already?
What's the point? So what's the point of putting that into play when all they're going to do is just use that as leverage to turn around and sell it for millions of dollars. So that's the biggest problem. Is they got to bring other people in from Florida that have experience in this type of business, that are passionate about what they're doing, that are passionate about getting good medicine out to good people, and cut all these other issues that are going on in the state of Florida.
And this is why Minorities for Medical Marijuana was born. I will tell you, this is why the brainchild, the thinking of it, thinking about the fact that you look at other different states in regards to the industry. Diversity in this industry is poor. And so we knew that we had to do something to organize ourselves to say, listen, we want an opportunity at the table as well.
Right. Well,
I think RB had made a really good point, though. An extension of our "Don't Lock Us Out" message has to be residency. We need to make sure that Floridians even have a chance to compete against these multi-million-dollar organizations from out of state. So,
and if that doesn't happen, talking about pricing $900, who's going to do that? They're going to go to the guy that they've been getting, where they're going to the street. The black market's still going to exist if they continue to go in this direction, and they're going to see it failed. All this failed,
and then
it's all a lie.
There's going to be increased criminalization because they're saying, well, there is a legal process that you're not following, so you're doing it the wrong way. So then you're going to be criminalized as a patient for it.
So
that's what we need to be cognizant of. This will maybe increase criminalization of patients who, because of the high pricing, they return to the black market.
It's a lose-lose. The way they're going right now, there's no exit for a win here. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation, and if we don't continue to speak up, it's going to fail. It's going to take another 2 years to implement, and their votes are not going to be heard. So you know what? When it will be heard is when they get voted out. Yeah. That's when it's going to. That's when they're going to realize, the mistakes they made.
We're keeping track of who you are. We know who you are.
I met with a client last night, and he was interested in getting into the business, and he said his motivation was his sister passed away. She had seizures. He said when she was having seizures, she would self-medicate, and her boyfriend would go and get her marijuana on the black market. Well, he got arrested when he was bringing her supply to her. Because she didn't have access to it anymore, she ended up dying, passing away later on. So a lot of times it's like, oh, people just want to get high. It's not that people want to get high. It truly is medicine.
The education and the stigma is starting to leave this industry.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep it together. Right. And it's falling apart really quickly right in front of their face. And the more we continue to speak out and people realize that this is a medicine for thousands and thousands of people, and the more their voices are heard, the more they're going to have to realize that stigma is going to have to disappear.
And the delivery systems that are available now are not what we're used to and what we grew up with. I'll tell you a real quick story. When I was growing up, my father went blind from glaucoma when I was 13 years old. And growing up, you have your father who he's in his mid-30s. He's young, he's vibrant, and all of a sudden he lost his eyesight. Especially in African American men, the onset of glaucoma, if not treated correctly, can cause blindness and at a very high rate. So my mother used to say, oh, your dad, all he needs to do is go smoke a joint. He needs to smoke a joint. And I never realized exactly what that meant.
It didn't sink in.
It didn't sink in until I looked and I had to do research to understand that the use of medicinal marijuana helps in regards to relieving the pressure on the eye, that helps in regards to saving the eyesight and fighting off the glaucoma, that eye disease. And so there's so many different delivery systems now. So it's not back when, we were young people and you're thinking this negative connotation of smoking a joint. There's, and the Cheech and Chong, and really, I tell people all the time, I've never used, never had a desire to use, don't even know what it feels like. But what I do understand is that there's an opportunity for us to make a difference in the quality of life. I spent 7 years in hospice, and I've seen people.
Oh, so you really understand?
I know it. When I tell you, I know it, and the passion I have for it. I've seen individuals facing end-of-life care situations where their quality of life is so poor because of chemo. I saw it hands-on because my mother passed away from breast cancer. We took care of her in her last days. She was on hospice care, and just the weight loss, just the nausea. If you have something that can help
better
your mother, a better quality of life, knowing that she's going to leave this earth but have a better quality of life, would you not do it? Would you not support it?
Of course.
But they don't understand that.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. We're going to make them understand, though, Roz.
Absolutely.
That's what we're going to do. That's what this whole purpose of this radio show is, by the way, besides making me look good.
That's pretty hard to do.
And you do.
Info at greenroadsworld.com is our email address. Get a hold of us, 1-877-960-9960. You're listening to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Across the state and across the country, the Hemp Kings is your online home for hemp oil products. From organic hemp oils to intense concentrates, there is only one name you need to remember, the Hemp Kings. The Hemp Kings. Our hemp cream pain blaster lotions use natural essential oils to deliver hemp's natural pain reliever directly to the site of inflammation for long-lasting relief. Now, our Pain Blaster hemp cream has gone to the extreme. Extreme. New Pain Blaster Extreme delivers even more relief, even faster. The best hemp products at the best prices delivered anywhere in the continental U.S. TheHempKings.com. TheHempKings.com.
Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out their organic hemp oils, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee when checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try refreshing natural lemonade or a delicious organic ice cream sandwich. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog and the Turnpike. We're Florida's #1 seller of hemp oil products because our stuff works.
Marley's Tobacco Shop, your one stop for pipes, papers, and other smoking accessories, including a huge selection of all your favorite raw papers and cones. Marley's offers a wide array of hand-blown glass pipes and water pipes, many from local artists. Check out their selection of vaporizers and e-cigarettes and e-liquids, along with plenty of incense to light up your place. Visit Marley's locations 2 in Boca or head to Palm Beach and Jupiter. Marley's Tobacco, a family-owned tobacco shop with a minor in vaping. Marley's Tobacco, they're smoking.
Cannabis is medicine. Cannabis is life. This is Cannabis Life Radio.
I've been thinking about my heart that's waiting, just waiting to find a place. And I know you're out there, just waiting to be found. I just wanna see your face. Be blue like the color of the sea, or brown like the leaves that fall from the tree. Will you love me in the morning before I go to work? I wanna hold, I wanna kiss, I wanna love, I wanna squeeze you. And in the bedroom, girl, you know I'm gonna please you. I wanna hold, I wanna kiss, I wanna squeeze you. Too many nights, too many days and too many nights, too many days and too many nights, too many days and too many nights is much too many times. Oh, oh, hey, hey, hey. Oh, oh, hey. And I know from yesterday, most things aren't here to stay. But with the love, we'll find a way to weather through the seasons. After our first meeting, I love a girl I've yet to meet. For what? But no good reason. Will your smile be so bright to light up my life? Will your skin be so soft when your clothes come off? Will you love me in the morning before I go to work? I wanna hold, I wanna kiss, I wanna love, I wanna squeeze you. And in the bedroom, girl, you know I'm gonna please you. I wanna hold, I wanna kiss, I wanna squeeze you. Too many days and too many nights. Too many days and too many nights without you by my side. Oh, oh, hey, hey, hey. Oh, oh, hey.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen. And this is Brianna.
Cannabis is medicine. Cannabis is life. This is Cannabis Life Radio.
I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to me to go over everything. They say that time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were younger and free. I've forgotten how it felt before the world fell at our feet. There's such a difference between us and a million miles. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you sorry for everything that I've done, but when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore.
Conqueror. Hello, how are you? Well, it's so typical of me to talk about myself. I'm sorry. I hope that you will. And did you ever make it out of that town when nothing ever happened? It's no secret that the both of us running out of time.
Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you sorry for everything that I've done, but when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tear you apart
I'm so sorry, baby. Oh, girl. What about my mom's gang? Rosie and Conqueror, I tell them again.
If you need cannabis as medicine, you need Cannabis Life Radio.
Cannabis Life Radio is Florida's only Cannabis Radio program.
That's right. We're back.
Yes, we are.
I see a camera on me.
You're famous.
I'm famous.
Well, we've done a great job so far, just digging into the issues and listening to some good.
Are you trying to bring me back down to earth?
No,
Every time I get a little
that's
excited.
That's not the place for you. You're too big for this place right here. That's what I'm talking about.
Don't do that, Cam, please.
This is Florida's only cannabis radio program. You can reach us at 1-877-960-9960 or on the internet. You can go to info@greenroadsworld.com if you have any questions, or we're on Facebook Live right this second, right? That's what this is right here, this conglomeration? That's a very strange looking camera, my friend.
And we definitely want to hear from our listeners and our viewers on Facebook to see what your thoughts are on the issue.
Right. If you have a question, too, you don't have to call in or email it. You can put it on the Facebook Live thing, too, right? And we'll get it.
Facebook Live thing?
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
thing. Yeah, that thing.
That thing right there.
I'm stuck
one.
in the 80s. Give me a break. Come on now. We got lots of stuff coming up. And what did you want to talk about? You said you wanted to talk about nothing? You didn't want to talk about anything?
I'm just looking at you, man. No, we got a lot to talk about. We got Roz McCarthy here right now, like founder of Minority for Medical Marijuana. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Love the passion.
Thank you very much.
Cheryl Murray Powell, legal counsel for Minorities for Medical Marijuana. We're going to be talking about just kind of what we need to do to continue to bring this education forward, whether it's residency, opening up the floor for the horizontal opportunities for many people in Florida to get involved and not have, the $60,000 application. And to get into that a little bit, Colorado had that. We paid our licensing fees every year.
Right.
And it was about anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000 that we had to pay every year.
Right.
Whether it was for the state, the county, our MIPS license, which we understood, which was perfect because it went to a cause, and we understood where it went. But it gave everybody the opportunity to do what they needed to do to expand in the business.
Right.
In this business, 90% of the people that get in it fail.
Right.
We want that to actually shrink a little bit and be able to provide the best information and knowledge to the people that want to get in the industry that just don't spend the money and lose it.
But isn't the part of the reason that the 90% fail is because of the structure of the implementation of different programs across the different states? Isn't it set
could
up
be
to
both.
fail?
It could be both. I mean, you have attorneys that took a little advantage. I mean, everybody took advantage at one point or another, but there's 8 or 9 states when I got involved. Right now, there's 25 plus states that that voted and that are actually, I think it's 29 if I'm not mistaken right now. So there's a lot more education now than when I was in the business in 08, 09.
But 90%, the number 90% makes it sound like that those people are never worked in the industry again. Those people have jobs now. That industry didn't collapse.
Yes and no. I mean, you have people in this business. The job opportunities are endless.
Right.
We started off with 5 employees. We're up to 42 employees right now.
That's here in Florida.
That's here in Florida.
42 diverse.
Diverse.
Right.
Cheryl came to our warehouse. She saw what we're doing. We're very happy with what we're doing. We're trying to provide the education as much as provide products with no THC in them whatsoever.
Right. That can still help people.
That could still help people. And just be as diverse as possible and give everybody an opportunity so there's not that failure rate getting into this business because it's a new business. New industry. It's a very new industry. It's fresh. It's exciting. There's also a lot of hurdles that are put in place, but with the right people and the right knowledge and education, a lot of people could be successful in this industry in specific targets and specific markets, whether it's education, whether it's delivery, whether it's extraction, growing. There's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of talent in Florida, as we know. So we need to be able to keep that money here and not have that money go outside.
Exactly.
That's a great segue to talk about the barriers for entry for minorities, since we have the benefit of Roz being here. Can you speak a little bit about what it looks like from a landscape perspective as far as minorities being in the business? What are their barriers to getting into the industry, and how we can remedy that?
Absolutely. Well, let's go back to our whole vertical and horizontal conversation. Under the vertical integrated model that is currently the land of the law here in the state of Florida, even if you look at the bonding capacity, you have to have a $5 million bonding capacity. If you look at some of the things where you had to have over 400,000 plants to be able to show, you had to have 30 years of business
That was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. ridiculous. So if you just think about this now, if you are, let's not even think about a small business owner, like a mid-sized business owner that's interested in the industry, and if you don't have the capabilities of meeting that requirement, and you are, I mean, it really locks you out. And so the whole reason why, another reason that the Minorities for Medical Marijuana was just so important to the state of Florida and nationwide is the fact that we're creating these business incubator where we're creating opportunities for those folks that want to get into the industry. Either you're touching plant, maybe you're not touching plant. There's an area that we're not talking about. It's the ancillary services.
Right.
It's the attorneys. It's the realtors. It's the folks that want to deliver a service, insurance. Yeah. It's those type of people that really are interested in the industry and want to understand how you gain connectivity. Well, to be honest with you, it was such a closed market before. I just was like, listen, I got to figure this business out. And someone wisely told me, if you're going to get into it, don't get into it not knowing and touching the service. You got to dig a deep dive.
You got to do a lot of education.
You got to do a lot of education. Educate myself on what the opportunities are. So now that I've done that, we've created a membership opportunity for members to come on board. And because of the of the information and the education that I've been able to acquire, as well as with our general counsel Cheryl Murray Powell, Eric Range, our board chair, and we have a robust board. We have attorneys, we have physicians on our board. Dr. Joseph Rosado is our medical director. He's a certified physician here in the state of Florida who understands what, from the patient's point of view, what needs to be taking place. And so just on the business side of it all, we just knew that if we didn't create a framework where you can come in and feel like you're supported, right, and feel like you got good information, and for $100 a year, those people that are serious, because we got a lot of yahoos calling and saying, "Hey, I want to get, hey, oh my gosh!" I mean, if I told you the time that I had to weed through those people who are serious and not, so we had to quantify that by putting a small dollar amount, and it helps us with our lobbying. We're lobbying in Tallahassee every week, and with our elected officials to educate them, to make recommendations, because if public policy is where it starts.
I agree.
It's where it starts, and that's going to make the biggest impact for our folks that want to get into this industry.
I agree. And we have a caller on the phone?
Yes, we have a caller. Do we have a caller?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
You got a question?
Yeah, it's, I was listening to the conversation you gentlemen were having, and I'm going to tell you something right now. I had a completely unrealistic view on what I'm trying to accomplish, so I do appreciate that. You allow me to listen in. The question that I have is basically, if there's an individual who has a high interest of getting into the company, but he basically has no capital. I'm a regular guy. I work a regular job, but every day I'm doing something to try to pursue what I'm trying to accomplish. What do you think would be the best course of action? I got a lot of information when you said that you need to learn the industry like the back of your hand. That I'm willing to do, but what is the necessary steps that I should take? The first steps that I should take.
You got to get involved. And what's your name?
My name is Devon Colon.
Thank you for calling, Devon. It really right now is just education. Be a part of something. Continue. Go to these open forums. Learn from what's going on. As Roz was saying, and Cheryl, they're always in Tallahassee. There's always meetings. There's always things that are going on, and not having a bucket full of money to get in this industry. There's opportunities in many facets of this industry. It's just being part of it and understanding and dedicating that time to learning what's going on. And I'll let Roz and Cheryl kind of get into that.
I'll let Roz. I'm going to let Roz comment, but I have these conversations all the time as an attorney. People find me and they want to talk about getting into the business. So, my first thing I always say is don't chase the money. Don't look at the dollar signs and say, I want to be in the business because I know it's going to be $1 billion industry. You have to understand what your core competency is. If you want to do security for the cannabis industry, we'll start being security for other areas, because right now it's a vertical market. So you can't get in right now. So if you're going to position yourself with the new wave of dispensary owners and license holders, they're going to be comparing you to everyone else. They're going to be comparing you sometimes to out-of-state providers. So how are you going to stand up? Right. Well, the only way you will stand up is if you figure out what area of the business you want to get into.
Get educated
Start
in that side.
educated on that side. Arby's 100% correct, 120% correct, and then start doing it. Because you're going to have to show a resume. You're going to have some type of referrals, some type of past performance. So that's what I always advise people. Don't chase the money. like Arby said, help with the lobbying. Join organizations such as Minorities for Medical Marijuana, but you need to know exactly what you're trying to do, and then you need to start doing it so that you can say, and I have done this for the hospital industry,
Right,
or
and
I
you
have
put-
done this for another industry, and I want to do it for
and
cannabis
you,
too.
and you put your hours behind it. When you start thinking about, I went there for the money, or I'm doing this for the money, it doesn't work out. Especially in this industry, this is a long haul. This is not, one home run. This is a lot of base hits. So you have to be involved from the beginning, so people take you seriously. Because everybody wants to be involved in this business. Anybody and anybody wants to be involved. So by doing that, you need to shine and kind of put your word in and attend these meetings and be part of something. So when they see you, it's not one time. They've seen you 100 times.
Right.
So they come out to you and they realize that you have the passion to be in this industry.
Right. And I don't know if you're looking at in regards to you actually want to grow, or I would say the state of Florida is not going to follow what's happening in Colorado and California, where you're going to be able to, I just don't think it's going to happen right now, where you're going to be able to have a small size cultivating operation, grower operation. My recommendation is, based upon what Cheryl said, wherever your level of specialty, and it may start out where you may end up working for one of these dispensaries, one of these growers right here. Look at your resume. I'm going to tell you something. Google is your best friend. Google it, man. Anything that you want to understand about your resume, what it needs to look like, Google what's going on in California. Google resumes in cannabis in Colorado. Build up your resume.
They have examples online.
Examples online. If you want to be a member and be with a group that we support you. And let me just, one thing about Minorities for Medical Marijuana. We believe in diversity, but we're also a diverse organization. We don't have this, if you're not a minority, you can't join our organization. That is false. We just actually created it so that we could address the issues from ethnicity side, women, disabled, veterans, being able to bring your issues to the forefront. With that being said, if you go to as in Mary, the number 4, medicalmarijuana.org, you can see the membership information. We're on Facebook as well, Minorities for Medical Marijuana. If nothing else, like our page, we have so much information on there that it'll help you to know what's going on, and you can pose a question. There's so many folks out here that are getting connected. That's when Arby says, listen, you need to be a part of a group or part of and staying educated. That's what we would definitely recommend for you.
That's very important, especially with everything that's going on right now. Without knowing what's going on, it kind of sets you back. So try to be as informative and look for any information you could get and just absorb it all, and then kind of attack what your best specialty's at.
And definitely listen to Cannabis Life Radio every week.
That is a plus.
Yeah,
that's a bonus.
Yeah.
I can give you 2 personal demonstrations of wanting to get into the business. So I myself wanted to get into the business. One, I'm a lawyer, so I do lawyering, and that's my specialization. So I can add as a layer cannabis law because I'm already a lawyer. So just to demonstrate what I was trying to say as far as you need to know your core competency. The other example is, I've always wanted to have a magazine. I recently connected with High Life Magazine, and I'm now part owner of High Life Magazine, but I'm not a graphics person. I don't know how to lay out a magazine, but my partner does. So that's the second demonstration as far as, as far as content, I got that down. But as far as the graphical piece, I don't have that down. So look for people you can partner with who have the skill set that you're lacking, or the experience and knowledge in the industry that you are lacking.
Great questions, though, Devin. I mean, a lot of people want to hear that because a lot of people are put in that position of what can I do to get involved in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd appreciate all the information, because the things that I'm doing right now, even though they might sound a little bit unorthodox, the overall purpose is so that way I can make sure that I come, into that industry where it makes sense. So when it comes to doing all the hard work, to me, that's actually, even though it might seem, someone mentioned a moment ago that you're going to have to, jump through hurdles. That's something that I feel that if an individual was going to pursue anything and didn't expect, it's kind of naive.
Yeah,
so
that's a great way to look at it.
It ain't going to be easy. No matter what, it ain't going to be easy.
And yeah, honestly, to me, I'm at the point in my life right now where, I just feel that if I'm going to do something and it comes easy, then I should kind of expect that it's not going to have any, it's not going to be able to help people. It's not going to have any long-term effect on anything. So that's exactly why I want to pursue this. And I'm actually right now at the point where I'm trying to go to Miami to get my yacht broker's license, just so that way, because I know regardless of, how anybody wants to put it, I'm going to need some kind of money. And what I'm doing right now, making $400 a week, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah, but the passion is there, Devin, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but the passion is there. So we started our business in Green Roads, and we started just 2 people. Right. And we were going door to door, just basically giving whatever we had away in 2013. So we had no money. We didn't come in with a big investor. We didn't just lay everything out. It took us 3.5 years to get here. And that's fine with us, but we had the passion, and the passion is still there, and we continue to move forward. So don't ever be discouraged about what you're making a week or anything like that. It's all about having the passion and continue to move forward. So besides that, thank you for your call. Please continue to listen, and if you have any questions, always you could hit us up on Facebook, or you could go to Minorities for Medical Marijuana and post a question there. They'll get back to you. We'll get back to you, and we support you. Just continue to push forward. So thank you for your call.
Thanks, Devin.
Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Absolutely.
Have a great day.
Yeah, I have a little story too. I have a friend that builds aviation hangars, small aviation hangars for backyards. He stopped doing that. Guess what he's doing now? He's designing them for home growing situations
awesome.
and houses because he knows what's going to happen.
Great transition.
Yeah, he knows exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly the stuff we're talking about.
I'll tell you something else interesting. I was talking to a good friend of mine. They were like, I want to get in the industry. I don't know what I want to do. But they he drives for Uber. He's like a big Uber, like that's it. He loves driving for Uber.
Mr. Uber.
Yeah, he's Mr. Uber. He's Sam Uber. Or I forgot how he puts it, but anyway. So long story short, I said he goes, Roz, I'm interested in the cannabis industry and I want to get into it. I said, well, you know what? The state of Florida is the tourist industry, the tourist capital of the world. Orlando, where we're based out of, is the tourist city of the world. I said, you got to look at what's been done. Cannabis tourism. Mm-hmm. You love driving people around. How do you take what you love and you're passionate about and can you imagine if you have these tour buses and you charge people, that come into a city and they want to understand and see just what does cannabis mean? Being able to take them to an art gallery that has cannabis art, be able to take them to a grower, take them to a cultivating, put a dollar figure to that and make some money. And that is cash business that comes in. Yep. And you don't have to get a license from the state of Florida to do that. Right. You're not touching plant.
Yeah. Right. The avenues are endless.
They're endless. So let me just give a recommendation. If you want to get into the industry and you are interested, you have a business right now, my high recommendation is get your business, whatever you're doing, make sure that you are registered with the state of Florida and myfloridamarketplace.com. That's what you want to make sure you're in there. If you're not touching plant, if you are going to deliver a service or what have you, you make sure that after that point that if you are a diverse business, you're a minority, get minority certified. That's going to be a great opportunity because let me tell you something. The work that we're doing, if we're successful, there may be a time where these licensed growers currently are going to be looking for minority certified business owners to partner with because it may make a difference in regards to them either getting their license, keeping their license, or being able to participate.
That is a huge point.
That is the nugget for the day.
That is a nugget.
So get yourself certified. If your business, if you're doing business right now, go to sunbiz.org. It tells you about minority certification. It's not hard. And if you have any questions, find me on Minorities for Medical Marijuana. I will help you.
That's a big nugget. That's not a small one.
That's a big nugget.
That's a big nugget.
Yeah. I'm all about the nuggets.
We're diverse like that.
Right. Well,
it's a boulder, not a nugget.
That's why I had to bring Cheryl. I'm like, Cheryl, you need to come by for a minute. You need to come by for a minute.
I don't blame
I'm here taking notes.
She's a legal eagle, so
thank you. Thank you so much.
I almost left for a little while. You guys were partying. I didn't even know I was still here.
Talking about the minority piece, I know there's some things that have been successful around the country, Roz, that you've been paying attention to. Can you talk a little bit about what's happening in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Oakland?
Pennsylvania is huge. I'd love to hear this.
All right, so what's going on in Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania, actually, their law was codified last year, and in that law it says there are diversity goals, not just we believe in it, we support it, but there actually there's a requirement in the application process. Their application process started January. It was released on January the 26th or something of that nature, and it's now open where applicants who are interested in growing, cultivating, manufacturing dispensary in the state of Pennsylvania, and they have it by they have different regions, and each region is going to have a set number of growers, a set number of license holders for dispensary, a set number of transportation license. So they have it kind of blocked off if you think about the state of Pennsylvania. But in that application requirement, you have to show a diversity plan. What's a diversity plan? That is, you have to show and be able to, in a measurable and tangible way, document how you plan to either have equity partners who are diverse. You either have ownership that's in the applicant is the owner is diverse in regards to employment, hiring practices, diverse hiring practices, in regards to procurement and subcontracting. Contracting services, think about it. If you're a grower and there's so many different parts of what you do and you have to contract services out, they want to make sure that you have thought about and are thinking, how do we make sure that we have diversity in what we're doing? And people go, well, why we got to do this? Well, why do you think Coca-Cola has a diversity plan and diversity officers? Why do you think Xerox? Because they realize
Cintas has to have a certain amount of business.
They realize that there has been economically and opportunity-wise folks of people of color, of background in regards to disabled individuals as well as veterans, that they have not had the same opportunity. And so that's what's happened in Pennsylvania. And so now as their application process ends on the end of March, and with that being said, they are having to make that is a requirement, which means when their applications are ranked, there is going to be a certain part of that diversity plan that's weighted. So if you do a poor job in showing what you're going to do, then you're going to get a poor score in that area. Now, if you have some people that are really that are competing neck to neck, 5 points difference in regards to their application, and the person who wins, who shows a true, measurable, and tangible, not just stuff on paper, but you got to show, how am I going to do it? How am I going to measure my outcome?
That business plan.
And then what's my best practices going forward?
Yep.
We don't know what that looks like in specifics, but you got to at least be able to articulate your goals and where you're trying to go with it. And that's something that we do as well. We consult groups that are looking to say, hey, Roz, we don't understand what that diversity plan looks like. Can you help us?
So why isn't Florida like that? Why are we so
well, ask me, why do we have a vertical
why are we so
system?
different?
I can tell you why. I know exactly why.
What's the problem?
I know what I know.
I mean,
why
I don't
it
get
is.
it.
Break it down, Leon,
Pennsylvania just came on board.
Well,
They just came on board. Why are we making it so
doesn't have the
freaking
issue that we have.
What's the issue?
We have the issue, especially in South Florida, where we have a lot more free-thinking people. We have a lot more diverse population.
That's even the bigger
problem. The
problem
is that our representation is hundreds and hundreds of miles away in Tallahassee. It might as well be in another country. That's what the problem is. If our representatives had to meet here in Miami, where there would be throngs of people standing outside their door every day, I guarantee you this stuff would have been enacted a long time ago. But they're taking advantage of the fact that they're up, in the little panhandle there, completely protected by Alabama, Mississippi and Georgia. Those are the people the kind of thinking that we have to deal with. Those are the people that are those people that are surrounding themselves with, that they have to listen to 24 hours a day, rather than people that live here.
I can tell you right now, that's going to change very quickly.
And let me tell you something. Everything is about timing. And you know what? Honestly, I wish I would have been on this mission and been just focused in 2014, because some of the things I'm talking about now may have happened back then. But really, the big the big epiphany for me is public policy. If we're not involved in regards to the legislation on the front end, we're going to be left behind on the back end. And I don't want to hear we shall overcome, let's picket, let's march, when you have an opportunity right now. And I'm so passionate about this. And this is why our elected officials, when we're up in Tallahassee, they are open. And I'm not talking about just our black elected officials and our Hispanic elected officials. Everyone across the board that I've talked with our senators and our House representatives have been open to the conversation. Does that mean they're going to move on our recommendations?
But at least they're open about it.
They're
open. But
they're talking to us.
Roz,
and they know it. They know it. And
they have to be.
They were waiting for someone to push this envelope a little bit. And God bless. I'm thinking, oh Lord, I hope I'm doing the right thing here. I know it, and I'm asking for covering. But the thing about it is, they needed someone had to step out and say, let me just push this envelope a little bit and make sure that we're bringing something to the attention. Will we solve everything this session? Absolutely not. This is going to be an ongoing process.
And that session ends on March 7th.
The session begins on March 7th.
Correct. And goes all the way to July.
All the way. It ends the second week in May is the first, second week in May is the end of it. But what happens is, and I didn't realize this until having to educate myself, all of the work that happens for session starts in January. It started in December when they started having subcommittee meetings. There was a subcommittee meeting on the Senate side. There was a subcommittee meeting on the House of Representatives side. You have two sides of our Congress, and they both come together to make our laws. So people go, well, I thought it was already passed. Yes, it's passed.
Yeah, but now they got to
structure it. But now
it.
they got to structure it.
Right.
And then what happens is that when you hear about moratoriums, well, yes, you're going to have cities have moratoriums because they're waiting for Tallahassee to get their act. They need some basis to understand, okay, these are some of the rules and regulations, and then we can go back and go to our city councilmen and our county commissioners and look at what Tallahassee has given us as a guideline, and then we can be able to say, you know what, we opt in, or maybe we opt out. If we opt in, well, this is what the recommendations are. You got to be 1,000 feet away from a school zone.
Well,
you got to be.
That's Colorado. I mean, we went through the same thing. It was 1,000 feet from a church, from an NA, from a nursery, and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's 100% on point. We have no issues with that. But come down with what you want us to do.
Right.
You know, don't leave us up on a cloud waiting for that, or leave
Right.
the 7 nurseries, or
Right.
5 are open, 2 are still closed.
Right.
I mean, that makes no sense.
And that's my question is, you had all these public forums and you had the online comment cards or what have you. My question is, I wonder what they're going to do with that information. I will say this.
Ignore it.
Director, I will, and I'm giving the
That's what
benefit
they're
of the
going to do.
doubt.
Ignore
and
it.
I like the positivity has to be there.
It does, because I this is how I live my life, and good, bad, or indifferent. I'm like this. But Director Bax, I watched him in Orlando, and I felt like, honestly, he was listening very intently.
And he had taken a beating in other cities.
And he was taking notes.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. Have you ever been in a place where you with someone and you can just tell they really don't want to be there, and they're just there because they have to?
Be, yeah.
I didn't feel that way with him, and I don't know if they're going to take the information, how they're going to extrapolate it down.
I think you had the point, though. I think they're starting to absorb a lot more. Before it was
Right.
it was just like kind of pushing off. It's no big deal. When
I watched
71%,
right, 71%,
60
But
over 6 million people
stories,
voted,
and lines of patients outside, and doctors.
The stories, and having you having people tell, and share their issues. Mom talking about, her daughter having seizures and being able to have to revive her several different times because she ends up coding out, or the stories were so impactful that I'm hoping that they're going to extrapolate all of this information. They're going to look at all the public comments. They're going to share with our elected officials. But honestly, when we go back to what do we do and how do you go, Roz, why isn't it like this right now? Is because we weren't having a conversation.
In 2014,
we weren't making recommendations. So what you did was you had people that were like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and set the law. And no one challenged it. And now we're challenging. And so that's an exciting thing to be a part of.
I'm challenged too because we're running out of time.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
More passion and more nuggets.
I love it.
I have to enforce the rules around here, ladies and gentlemen.
Now you're the
great job.
You're the enforcer now.
Yes, I'm the enforcer. I'm the serious one today. 1-877-960-9960 is the phone number. Also, you can reach us at info@greenroadsworld.com. You are listening to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Rough touch movements.
Cry me a river, girl. You can cry me the sea. I can take you back in my life for all that you've done to me. But you never know. Say life would have changed for me. You never know you would have done Papi sure. No, you never know. Say tell me would have turned for me. No, me God will leave past that door. No, you never know. Life will have turned for me. Never know you would have be the Papi sure. But now you tell your friends then me have a bag of thing and I show off no pan you. Hey, do you remember when I say I only need a #1 song? Hey, and do you remember I told you were gonna be my #1 woman, but you never had no faith in me. Baby, you couldn't just believe. Now you see not living, I've been free. Now you wanna come be with me, but you never know. Say life would have changed for me. You never know you would have done Papi sure. No, you never know. The devil would have turned for me. No, me God will leave past that door. No, you never know. Life full of turn for me. Never know you would have be the papi sure. But now you tell your friends then me have a bag of thing. And I show up, no can you. Hey, a real woman I left a man nothing not one. She a go stand by through the roughest of storm. Even little butter white rice or dumpling, we have to make that off with supper tonight. Hey, follow loose girl now and lose all your eyes. And another man and a different man I take you home each night. And I saw you left that live on me. I tell you that you're living a real dirty, nasty, freaky life. But you never know. Say things would have changed for me. Now I you turn the real papi show. But you never know. Say things would have happened for me. Now me start working me one and next door. No, you never know. Say things would have turned for me. Now I you turn the real papi show. But you never know. You know, you know, you know, you know. Now so me never want to say yo. Hey. Tell me you love me before. You love me. You tell me you care. Oh, you care. But all I noticed that all you want it, what I got there. Cry me a river. Oh, cry me a sea. Oh, no. Well, I'm like the rain that pours both in the water and pours into the sea. But you never know. Say life would have changed for me. You never know you would have done papi sure. No, you never know. The table would have turned for me. No, me God will leave past the door. No, you never know. Life will have turned for me. Never know you would have be the papi sure. But now you tell your friends then me have a bag of thing. And I show up, no can you. Hey, do you remember when I say I only need a number one song? Hey, and do you remember I told you were gonna be my number one woman? But you never have enough faith in me. Baby, you couldn't just believe. Now you see I'm living, not being free. Now you wanna come be with me. But you never know. See, life would have changed for me. You never know you would have done papi sure. No, you never know. The table would have turned for me. No, me God will leave past the door. No, you never know. Life would have turned for me. Never know you would have be the papi sure. But now you tell your friends then me have a bag of thing. And I show up, no plan, no.
If you need cannabis as medicine, you need Cannabis Life Radio.
I need Cannabis Life Radio. I need Cannabis Life Radio in my life. Is everybody else here? Am I the only one here?
No, we're here.
No,
we're hanging in there with you, yeah.
They're all looking at me like that.
Crickets.
Crickets all of a sudden. Welcome to Cannabis Life Radio. My name is Liam. Real crickets. Thank you. No respect. Welcome to Cannabis Life Radio. I'm Leon Hamilton, Arby Barroso, and the gang. Everybody's here. Everybody's there.
There, everywhere.
Hey, we want lots of comments. Tell us what you're thinking, what you're feeling. If you don't call in on Facebook, let us know, because we represent really what your interests and understanding what's most important to you. So,
and it's big right now. We're getting a bunch of shout outs right now. People are following us on Cannabis Life Radio. They're following Minority for Medical Marijuana right now on Facebook. So just put your comments in. Let us know what you're thinking. Exactly like Roz was saying. We'll be able to articulate that on the radio, or we'll reach out back to you on a message. But continue to reach out to us. Let us know what you're thinking.
And we got some emails too.
And we got some emails in, so we can continue to push forward the agenda of the people that voted, and continue to make this and hopefully a horizontal program instead of a vertical one.
With residency, poop.
Residencies,
right? Residency.
We'll definitely be pushing that.
And that was something that another residency point that we never even talked about was something that Michael Minardi brought up at his little presentation for the health department. He was talking about a lot of people that have dual residency that have medical marijuana cards in other states,
yes,
and they come here and they're out of luck.
Yes, I just got back from Vegas now, and Vegas is one of the only locations that you could actually use your card. If you have a card, you could go from another state. You could go, including my stuff in Vegas is a little bit. I don't know how I feel, because one of the largest guys over there in 2014 put a lot of money on the say no, a lot of money, and the reason why is because they're going to have the biggest grows in Vegas. There's a lot of money out there, and it's this year where it's really going to start expanding in a big way. Out in Vegas, we don't want that to deter anything that's going on in Florida.
Right.
We will be the largest, 7.4 income in tax revenue by 2020.
2020 we'll have more tax revenue generated in this state by the medical marijuana program.
7.4% of the total gross of what they collect is going to come from Florida.
Man.
Wow.
So if we do this right, we'll be able to provide jobs, which is huge here.
Right. Education.
Well-paying jobs at that, because typically people that start in this business don't get minimum wage.
Right.
That's just $12, $15, $20 an hour job. From the marketing guys, as you were saying before, the people that do all the gathering of information, marketing, advertising. It's a new business all across the board. The marketing, advertising, you don't do that down here.
No.
Our TFC guys, it took them a couple months to kind of start picking that up. Right now, they're on board. They understand exactly how to target our market. But it was very difficult. You could go to the biggest marketing firms out there, and if they don't know the industry, it's not selling shoes and you're not selling shirts.
Absolutely.
It's a brand new product.
It's a brand new
product.
And it's so powerful because it's a brand new industry across the board. Just think about this. When in our lifetime has there been an industry that currently right now theoretically is making $0 and that has an opportunity and it's been stated that we will do $1.3 billion in revenue by the year 2020.
Yep.
So again, don't let the money lead you, but the opportunity is there because it's not just in regards to business side; it's regarding employment opportunities. We talk about the ancillary services, so it's just so much to kind of take
across
in.
the board.
It's across the board.
Everything.
Absolutely.
It's everything. And Leah and I were actually discussing earlier, which is a topic that we'll probably discuss maybe later on if we have time. But it's the market from 1937 to now.
Yep.
The market completely changed.
That was a good combo. I'm sorry you guys missed it. That was awesome this morning.
I think he's going to walk out the door right now. But everything that's happened from that time and that generation time to now is a big difference. I got an article the other day that basically said that the farming animals and everything, all the supplements that were taken out of the endocannabinoid system that were just proven in 1990 to be actually shown that we had that system in our body, that we should have been feeding that as kids and everything across the board. 5.4 million people will have Alzheimer's. By 2050, if that doesn't change, there's going to be 11 million people with Alzheimer's. That's blowing up. That's just one side of the disease that the endocannabinoid system could help in a human body.
Dr. Michelle Weiner at the Broward hearing actually referenced that, and she said that all of our food that we're eating now is genetically modified, and the cannabis, cannabinoids have been completely taken out of our diet.
And there's no other plant.
And we need it.
Yeah, there's no other plant on Earth that provides that type of nutrients to our body.
Right, and it's supposed to be there.
And it's supposed to be there.
And we didn't understand. We thought that it was supposed to be there through direct consumption, but it might be supposed to be there through what you were saying in the article. It might be a secondary source where they were feeding the animals the hemp
was
products.
Their feed back
That was the
back
feed
then.
back
That was
then.
the feed back then, and that was taken out of the feed.
And then once it goes into the animal, then it was consumed by the human, and we end up with the cannabinoids going into our endocannabinoid system, which ended in 1937, which exactly at the same time all these neurodegenerative disorders exploded. ALS, MS, all these things exploded.
Everything across the board, and that's another part of the industry that we don't talk about a lot. We are in the medical marijuana side, but that plant, you could pretty much take 95% of that plant and put it to use.
Yes.
And that was the biggest thing against it was you could use so much of that plant, whether it's paper, fiber, everything across the board, but they didn't realize the nutrition that was coming out of that plant that we were missing out on a daily basis.
They were doing it for other nefarious reasons. They were getting rid of it because of other things. We'll fight about that later.
Yeah.
But
we'll put on gloves, man. I'm serious.
The end result ended up being a health issue for Americans, and that's the reason that we're in this situation.
We're seeing that now.
Now we have to go to the back end. We have to do it as a medical marijuana program instead of having it naturally.
Which really, medical marijuana, it's just a terminology.
Right. It
is. There's nothing medical about this. The medical is the ingestion and what we do with ourselves and to that type of product. But medical marijuana, they haven't laid out a forum in reference to how the water, the soil, the air, and everything else. So there's really nothing medical about it, but the plant itself is medicinal.
Yes.
Right.
So that's the terminology that they use for that. And our passion is serious behind this because we do sell to over 3,000 stores. We see a lot of people and a lot of things taking effect due to the products that we provide to the public. And we are passionate about making sure that Florida adds that diversity and we continue to move forward for the business, for the people, and for everybody that voted for
You're
it.
passionate now, but as soon as I try to tell you my point of view, you want to fight.
Yes.
I see how it is. All right, we got to take a quick break. We got to take one more break. Don't give me that dirty look. Every time I say I got
We just love talking to you, Leon. Great. Boo break. Leon, we want more.
Come on now. We got one more break. Come on.
All right, we can work at it.
They almost made it the whole show.
10
minutes left.
Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
You're listening to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Across the state and across the country, the Hemp Kings is your online home for hemp oil products. From organic hemp oils to intense concentrates, there is only one name you need to remember: the Hemp Kings. The Hemp Kings. Our hemp cream pain blaster lotions use natural essential oils to deliver hemp's natural pain reliever directly to the site of inflammation for long-lasting relief. Now, our Pain Blaster hemp cream has gone to the extreme. New Pain Blaster Extreme delivers even more relief, even faster. The best hemp products at the best prices, delivered anywhere in the continental U.S. TheHempKings.com. TheHempKings.com.
Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out their organic hemp oils, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee when checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try refreshing natural lemonade or a delicious organic ice cream sandwich. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog and the Turnpike. We're Florida's #1 seller of hemp oil products because our stuff works.
Marley's Tobacco Shop, your one stop for pipes, papers, and other smoking accessories, including a huge selection of all your favorite raw papers and cones. Marley's offers a wide array of hand-blown glass pipes and water pipes, many from local artists. Check out their selection of vaporizers and e-cigarettes and e-liquids, along with plenty of incense to light up your place. Visit Marley's locations 2 in Boca or head to Palm Beach and Jupiter. Marley's Tobacco, a family-owned tobacco shop with a minor in vaping. Marley's Tobacco, they're smoking.
This is Florida's only cannabis radio program, Cannabis Life Radio.
Who'll pay the cost for all the innocent blood? War after war and liberating none. Too much tribal wars, too much fighting for no cause. Who bears the scars? The innocent ones. So they forget about Jaja laws that we should live in love. The war is over. Throw away your knife and guns. The Father is calling. Show him your heart of love. The war is over. Throw away your bombs and guns. The Father is calling. Go meditate his laws. 'Cause if our bread be, we share it up. If I water me, we fill your cup. If I hate, then we show you love. Teach your children how to live it up. War is over. Show me your knife and guns. The Father is calling. Show him your heart of love. Who'll pay the cost for all the innocent blood? War after war and liberating none. Too many wars, children bearing guns, fighting for a war they did not start. Now they forget about your laws that we should live in love. The war is over. Show your knives and guns. The Father is calling.
This is the most unique radio show in America. This is Cannabis Life Radio.
I see you. I see you people over there. They're all hand signaling me. Welcome to Cannabis Life Radio. I'm Leon Hamilton, along with Arby Barroso and the whole gang. Everybody's here.
Yes. Another packed house.
Packed house. There's more people here than a multi-million-dollar movie production. I've never seen anything like
We're keeping each other warm.
Yes. Try to keep that door open so it lets some air in, please. It's very warm in here. Probably because of all the heated discussions.
Yes.
We got emails. We've got emails from info at greenroadsworld.com. I see him looking at my lips every time because I keep saying the wrong thing. I keep saying the wrong name, and he looks at my lips to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
That S makes all the difference.
You see that? You see that?
First email. You ready? This is for you, Arby. From Mark in West Palm. How many strains will be available when dispensaries open in September?
To be honest with you, right now there's only about 5 to 7 strains, maybe 10 that they're growing, if that. That's the biggest problem that we're having with this vertical. Whether it's the product that they're making, whether it's what they're growing, the strains they're growing. Ourselves, we had about 80 mothers back when we were growing on a 12,000 square foot facility. And that means that if they're only growing 5 to 10, there's a limited amount of people that are going to be able to get the right medicine that they need, especially with the hybrided plants that they are nowadays.
Yeah, doesn't it also affect the quality of the strains themselves if there isn't a lot of diversity?
Well, there's again, it's got to be a controlled environment. If
Right.
you don't have it in a controlled environment, there's strains that could change from a very high CBD strain to a very high THC strain, or it could turn into a male plant and basically just be nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
So it's very difficult in the direction that they're going. And that's why we're here to continue to make this a horizontal instead of a vertical leap.
All right. You ready for another one?
Yes.
All right. This is from Tyrell from West Palm. I am a truck driver with severe back pain. I can't take pills. Can marijuana help me without testing positive?
The product that we have right now is from greenroadsworld.com. That product has 0 THC in it. You will not test positive.
Right.
Now, with the medical marijuana side, that would be up to the company he's working for if they're going to allow him to do this. And this is the crazy part, is that they'll write a prescription for opiates and allow him to drive down the road.
Right.
But he can't go ahead and, no problem. Right. But he can't go and self-medicate like we had last week, Treyas Jarrell, that stepped back from doing college football from Colorado State University. That's criminal in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to force pills down his throat instead of he wanted to medicate in a different fashion, but they wanted to continue to give him a prescription, go to your doctor, or the school itself would give him the drugs to have him continue to play.
Right.
He took a stand against that, and I applaud him for that, and I know he's listening to us.
Right.
So, Jarrell,
and shout out to Treyas, because I spoke to him this week as well. So how about
shout
out to Treyas? World, so shout out Treyas.
I didn't talk to him. He never talked to me. As usual, I get left out. Okay, I got another one here from Cassie in Lake Worth. Should I see a doctor now to get my medical marijuana prescription?
I'll leave it up to the ladies to answer this.
I would suggest if you do have if you found a certifying physician, and I would go see them now, because honestly, the 90-day relationship rule is still there. The new rules and regulations won't be done within the next 90 days. So, if you found someone, go see him now. Talk about what's going on with yourself. Dr. Joseph Rosado is our medical director. He's a certifying physician. He's awesome. He's going to take you from A to Z in regards to what you need and talk about exactly what his recommendations would look like for you.
Good question, though.
Yeah,
Very good
that is a good question. Okay, I got one more. Matt from Boca. Oh, okay. I was wondering what that noise was. Matt from Boca? What?
Go ahead.
What?
Come on.
Why is weed illegal in the first place?
That's an explosion. Boom.
We want to thank everybody for joining us today. Please join us in next week in Cannabis Life Radio. I'll let Leon finish us out.
Make sure you tune in for Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
All right.
All right, folks. Peace.